Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, Sigil here, welcome back to another video. So in this one we're going to talk about the upcoming artifacts for the upcoming Soul Raid that have already been released on the official Injustice Mobile website. Keep in mind that everything I say here is going to be just speculation, because as we know with a lot of our artifacts, some things can sound very good but they turn out to be very bad, and some things can sound very bad but they turn out to be very good in practice. So this is only speculation and I might be wrong about those things, but if you want to see my speculation on those, considering just reading the stats that those artifacts have, let's get into it. First of all, we got the two top passive stat artifacts. There's three tiers of passive stats. There's like maxed out 32, there's maxed out 20, and there's maxed out 12. So when it comes to the free artifact that we're gonna get, it's gonna be one of those two ones here, because it's always the highest amount of passive stats from the free artifact that you get from the Soul Raids. And let's talk about those two first of all. First of all, the Kamidogu dagger. It's gonna give you plus 10% basic and swipe damage for every combo meter, up to maximum of 1000, and it saves 90% of the combo when resetting it. This is very interesting. First of all, it is a lot of damage. It is a huge amount of damage depending on the combo meter that you have. And it's not the chance to save combo meter, it's something like an amount of combo meter saves. For example, let's say you have 100 combo builds, you use a special, that's gonna count for 40 combo because that's the maximum amount of combo that counts towards dealing damage, but instead of losing all of it, you're gonna remain at 90 because you're gonna save 90% of it. And considering how fast you can build combo, generally speaking, with a lot of characters, I think you'll be able to make huge use of that part of it, even from a lot of a lower level. And I really like that it has this feature, because it doesn't restrict you to only do basics. If you want to do a special, you can do a special without messing up the first part of it. Now, with the first part of the artifact, the damage, yet again, we'll never know until we test it, but I really hope this is a free artifact, because this sounds like a lot of fun. Next up, Amulet of Shinnok. Every 5 successful swipe attacks spawns a Shinnok hazard for 9 seconds that disables movement and block. It also power locks the opponent on the Shinnok hazard. So, first of all, it disables movement and block. That means that the enemy can still do normal tap attacks. Tap attacks are not movements, but that's fine. That's not a big deal. But it disables the jump attack, which is great because it no longer gonna make it jump out of the hazard. This is a hazard that fixes its own problem with the enemy jumping out of it. And this artifact, for the first part of it, might actually become the maybe best art, though not really, because it takes a lot of swipes. Like 5 swipes is a lot. 5 swipe attacks is like 2 full combos and a half. I was gonna say that in theory this might be the best thing for the Mortal Kombat team, but 5 swipes is a lot. Like, the people designing this think that you can just swipe 5 times? No, bro, you gotta integrate that into a combo. And the duration is so low. By the time, I mean, honestly, after you activate it once, if you wanna have a permanently active character that's activating this, you can just swipe without integrating it into a combo. Might be rough to get it going the first time, but the character you're gonna put this on is not gonna be most likely your standing character in the fight, because if you want your damage dealer, this gives you no damage, and that sucks. And it also power locks the opponent when they're in the hazard. This is something that kind of fixes the problem. If you're gonna disable the enemy swipes and the enemies block, what are they gonna do? They're gonna do specials. But yeah, I think the requirement of 5 swipes is a bit much. So I hope I'm wrong about this. It's a bit much to just activate, and after you activated it already, if you want to keep it active with the active character in the fight, you're most likely gonna have a far easier time, but that's most likely not the character you would want in the fight, because this artifact doesn't really give you damage. It's like a very specific thing that might counter a very specific fight we're gonna have in the Soul Raid. And it sucks that it's such a huge requirement for it. Like, I would love this artifact if, for example, it only took, let's say, 2 swipes to get it. You do 2 swipes and you're gonna get this, but 5 swipes? Oh boy, that's crippling. But yeah, it'll be a huge disappointment if this was the free artifact. I would absolutely hate it. I really hope this is the free artifacts. But yeah, let's move on. By the way, this is the Amulet of Shinnok. Tao accumulate 100% from incoming damage, including team splash damage. So the bosses that have overkill are gonna splash damage to your teammates. Again, seems like something kind of specifically made to counter something, but let's keep reading. Gain a shield and dispel random debuff when accumulated the damage reaches 20% of the wearer's health. Okay, so at level 10 you get the damage equal to 20% of your health. This is gonna trigger, and it's gonna disable one negative effect. A random negative effect is not a big deal because you usually only have one negative effect at a time applied to yourself, unless we're in a very specific situation. And the shield blocks damage equal to 50% of your health. When the shield is destroyed, random opponent buff dispels. This seems yet again very, very specific. So you're basically, in a way, I mean, you're gonna lose that health anyway, but in a way, paying 20% of your health to get the 50% of your health shield. Though the good thing about the shield is that it doesn't have an expiration date. It's gonna expire when it's gonna expire, when it's gonna run out. And I wonder what the shield does. Is it just gonna be a shield that prevents some damage, or a shield that also makes you not get staggered while the shield is active? If you don't get staggered while this is active, this is gonna be insanely strong for league invasions and hard champions arena fights. So yeah, could be interesting. Might not be that interesting, but definitely if this works like Green Lantern Shield, for example, has the potential of being extremely strong in league invasions and arena and champions arena. Gemstone. Oh boy, they really tried hard with this one in terms of naming it. It's a gemstone, guys. Okay, so where successful basic and swipe attacks increase the combo meter by 2? What do you mean? They increase the combo meter by 2 if you have fast attack hits anyway. Do they increase it by 2 additional compared to what it would increase normally? Like you have, let's say, a Just League Flash with 4 fast attack hits, and it increases the combo by 4, and then this adds 2 on top. Is this how it works? A little bit weird. Successful specials with 20 combo meter inflict a gemstone debuff for 30 seconds. Each stack reduces duration by 5 seconds. And it stacks up to 5 times. Each stack increases incoming damage by 80%. Okay, so let's try to break this down a bit. I think there's a miswording here, maybe. First of all, increasing incoming damage is amazingly strong. That's what Raven does. This artifact has the potential actually to act as a Raven buff. It's gonna be a little bit harder to get because you're gonna have to build some combo, but 20 combo is not like the highest amount required. And since you're gonna get more combo on basics, that's gonna be pretty chill. Especially, imagine doing this on Raven and getting double the Raven Darkness. But I don't get the gem debuff thing, so it stacks up to 5 times, right? But you're gonna reduce the duration by 5 seconds whenever you apply it. This makes it physically impossible to get it to 5 stacks, maybe even impossible to get it to 3 stacks. So you gotta hit the enemy a bit, you got the special animation, and if you keep reducing the duration by 5 seconds, you're never ever, mathematically speaking, gonna be able to reach 5 stacks. I really hope this is a miswording with this, and it's gonna be increased by 5 seconds instead of reduced by 5 seconds. Because that sounds kind of awful. Or maybe it's something like it's gonna be a 30-second duration, And then for each negative effect you're gonna further apply, it's gonna go down to 25, but get reset, 20, but get reset. This is very weird, but I really hope it says increases the duration by 5 seconds, not reduces it, because then what's the point of 5 stacks? You're never gonna get them. Unless you do something very weird like Collector before Superman to keep combo and just spam specials. I don't know. But again, because of the damage against target, this seems to have a lot of potential, but it is very weird. Okay, Scorpion's Claw. Each successful special inflicts a stack of Claw debuff, max up to 3 stacks, so each successful special doesn't require you have high combo or anything. 160%, and keep in mind a stack, so we can have all the way up to 3 stacks. 160% from where his attack stat is applied as dot by successful ranged attack. For each claw debuff, every ranged attack resets claw debuff. Okay, so you're gonna reset that, so you only need to stack it 3 times. But it doesn't say the claw debuff is gonna have a duration anywhere. It says it's gonna go up to 3 stacks. It says how many seconds the dot is gonna last, but the debuff itself doesn't really say how long it's gonna last. Or it resets it as in it takes it all the way to 0 stacks and you have to restack that. So you have to use a couple of specials, get it all the way to 3 stacks, and then use a ranged attack and disappears. But you get the benefit from that ranged attack. With 3 stacks of this at level 10, you might be able to get something somewhat close to Batman the Drowned, I guess. But it's gonna be dot, not hazard dot, so it's something you should keep a bit in mind. Yeah, very weird. I don't know what to say about this before getting to play this. Each cold stack gives 25% chance to reflect stun. Does affect raid bosses. Burn and blind and plus 5% defense that exceeds cap up to 90% defense. Okay, so it gets defense exceeding cap. I don't know what's up with... Oh, chance to reflect stun, and the reflected stun affects raid bosses. That makes a bit of sense. A bit counterproductive, I guess. Maybe with the fights that have stun on tagging could be cool. But yeah, no idea how the first part of this will work. I guess we can only see once we get our hands on it. If I ever will, because I'm not really willing to spend my money on story artifacts. I'm sorry, but... I just feel scammed every single time I do. Each 10 combo meter decreases power cost of all specials by 1%. We're talking about the Morasa blades. So each 10 combo meter decreases the power cost of all specials by 1. 8.5% combo meter damage bonus for specials with decreased cost up to a max of 2050. Successful specials will decrease the power cost. With decreased power cost, decrease opponent's power generation by 5%. For each combo, maximum 50%, duration 12 seconds. So you're going to decrease the power generation of the opponent by a little bit whenever you trigger this. In order to trigger this, you're going to need to use specials that have reduced power costs, and you're going to do that by building up a little bit of combo. And you're going to get an increase in the max amount of damage you can get from the special damage boost. So you get a little bit of a special damage boost depending on how much combo you can build up. And that is a pretty good calculation. So adding to that thing specifically, I don't think is the worst thing in the world. The damage you get from building combo when it comes to using specials is one of the most honest things in the game, honestly, when it comes to buff calculation, because it's kind of calculated after everything else. It counts for absolutely everything that would increase the damage of that special and then increases it by that amount. So that could be pretty good. Next up, Demon's Heart. When health drops below 15% health, next successful special heals 20% and decreases the opponent's damage for 25% during 10 seconds. Effect cooldown 25%. If the warrior is defeated during cooldown, then warrior revives with 20% health once per battle. Okay, so I was gonna trash this artifact first of all, because I was like, well, if that happens when I drop below 50% health, what if I die? Because I usually die. You very rarely get to that specific amount. But it's gonna revive you, and I think you're gonna keep this thing. That heals you a bit. But it doesn't heal you by much. 20% of what? 20% of your health? 20% of the damage done by that special? Because those are very different things. I mean, this might be specifically good yet again for Arena, Champions Arena, League Invasions. I don't see this ever used in Soul Raids. It could be a pretty cool thing, I guess, to use. Also, yeah, we're getting into the bottom tier artifacts. So yeah, I don't know how good this is. I'm most likely never gonna care about this artifact. Scorpion String. I'm not sure he's using this kind of thing on his string, but whatever. Every successful basic and rush attack increases chance for 4 seconds stun or 3% by jump. Bro, what? What? Who wrote this? Do you speak English, buddy? Every successful basic and rush attack increases chance of 4 seconds stun. Oh, it's a little bit me being stupid, but it's also kind of wrote in a cringe way. So you're gonna get a little bit of an increase in a chance to stun, up to 50% chance to stun on your swipe, jumps, whatever, and you're gonna get a little bit of damage on stunned opponents. I mean, okay, I guess. It's not the biggest deal. When you have this maxed out, most likely against a hell that is not stun immune, a target that's not stun immune, you're gonna be able to constantly keep them stunned. You're gonna get a nice buff that Harley has, damage against stunned opponents. But as I've seen in my testing with Harley, the damage against stunned opponents is only good if you are the League of Archy. If you're using pretty much anything else, it's kind of garbage. So yeah, I'm not too excited about this artifact. Maybe for Raiden though. Maybe Raiden with Scorpion. Maybe this is a way to stop the enemy from jumping out of the goddamn hazard of Scorpion, and this will give Raiden some damage when that happens. Or maybe for Scorpion himself, and we drop this on Scorpion, and we just use him as the damage dealer and constantly hit the enemy, because this is going to provide two things. It's going to provide constant suppression of the enemy, so they can't jump out of the hazard, and a little bit of damage. So yeah, this could be good for Scorpion. Outside of that, I don't really see it used anywhere. Now I'm gonna move my head up a bit because you can't really see those artifacts well. So Secret Scrolls of Shirai Ryu. So -1 cost for super move and third special for each successful special. Up to maximum 4. Resetting by casting super move or third special. Plus 6% damage for each decreased power bar for special or super move. Okay, so you're gonna decrease 4 of them, and by using other specials, I guess, and then get a little bit of a damage buff. I mean, it's good work with Sir Banshee gameplay, but I'm gonna stop it right there. This is a garbage artifact. This is the best example so far of a filler artifact that's just there, so that you open a pack, you get something, and they lie to you that you get something because you get nothing because this is garbage. So what this thing wants you is to have a whole circle jerk of constantly spamming special to get your stacks up, to get that damage buff on that special. Just use a Zatanna for a damage buff. Just build combo, my dude, for a little bit of a damage buff. This is garbage. This is just bottom of the barrel garbage. And I was surprised because I didn't see that so far. Like every single artifact here, even if It didn't look like it was the best thing in the world. Could have some niches, could have some interesting news, could have some stuff to be done with it. And with these Athanasaurus, for example, they have a lot of filler artifacts that either don't do anything or are just worse version of other artifacts that are in that exact soul ray. They had like 3 artifacts that had bonus to fast attack hits, and they were just worse and worse and worse as they would go down the tiers. And I didn't see this so far until we got to this tier, and we got this garbage. This is Injustice spitting in your face when you pay them money. That's what this artifact is. And then we got Soul Stone. Plus 7% power generation for each of the opponent's power bar. Maximum 50%. And Steam gains 60% power spent by opponent after blocking a special. I mean, the power generation is gonna be pretty nice, I guess, though it's not a huge amount. But what I'm gonna say is that you're gonna be able to keep that up because you're gonna, let's say, combo and drop the enemy, and they will always sit at full power. So you're gonna always have that buff maxed out. But not sure I'll ever use this for this purpose. I don't feel like it does enough to make me want to spend an artifact slot for this. So while this on the left one is just spitting in your face. This one is spitting on the back of your head when you don't look and they pretend they didn't do it. Kind of deal. But yeah, those ones are both garbage. Other than that, each artifact seems like it might have some kind of use, or it could have some kind of use. Though yet again, we won't know until we get to play with them. But compared to the previous soul raids, I mean, I'm still not happy with the state of how you get artifacts in Just Mobile. Just bring the artifact chest back already and put all the artifacts in them. But yeah, other than that and other than those 2 artifacts here, it really seems like they did put a bit more effort than the past soul raids into designing the artifacts. It feels like every single artifact here, good or bad, has its own identity and its own purpose. So I'm pretty happy with that. Then we get to this garbage here though. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think about them in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye!